2020 was perhaps not the year any of us anticipated, but it was a year we were prepared to weather. In April, early on in the pandemic, Village in the Ville turned 5. Over these last 5 years, we have come to know one another, have made friends, laughed with one another, discovered new hobbies and revisited old ones, and helped each other through a range of events. So when I say prepared, I mean we laid the foundation of a truly supportive community network. One that was at the ready when we implemented our Friendly Buddy check-in system, one that provided helpful feedback regarding members' needs, and one that has been encouraging during these challenging times.
I think that as human beings, when most of us go through difficult times, we tend to dwell on our suffering, loneliness, and fear. And we become blind to the many beautiful things that life has to offer us. I remember the millions of medical professionals who risked their lives daily to help their fellow Americans. I think of Dr. Amy Acton, the beacon of light for so many Ohioans during such dark and demoralizing times. Looking back, I think of government and nonprofit workers who continued housing, clothing, and feeding limited resource Americans. I remember how people from different backgrounds united in protest of police brutality, and how our nation elected Kamala Harris, who will soon be our first ever female, Black, South Asian vice president. And I remember my friend Marie, who is earning her degree in social work, wisely telling me that she no longer views this pandemic as getting in the way of her education, but rather as part of her social work education. Throughout the year, many people have felt uncertain and hopeless. But I say with the utmost sincerity that I've never felt anything but pride, hope, and confidence in Village's community. Instead of growing apart during this difficult time, I think in many ways our community has come together. I feel grateful for how thoughtfully Christine, Phoebe, and Marie reworked Village's programming to follow CDC guidelines. It's touching how many volunteers continue assisting our members, like by driving them to their doctor's appointments, despite risks. I'm grateful for the support that Village members have shown each other by regularly checking in with and advocating for one another. And for those reasons and more, I'm so glad to be part of Village in the Ville.
Who do you turn to when you need a hand? If you're a member of Village in the Ville, I hope we came to mind as one of your go-to connections. As I wrap up my first year with Village in the Ville, I think about the moments that were so special to me throughout the course of the year. There were village bike rides, visits to the Columbus Museum of Art, picnics along the Olentangy Riverside, yoga nights virtually, emergency preparedness bucket drop-offs, and simply sharing handwritten birthdays and greeting card notes. You made these moments special. 2020 has been a year of both challenge and opportunity. My grandmother died of Alzheimer's disease in October. That morning, I took a walk around my Clintonville neighborhood to reflect on her absolutely amazing life of 88 years. And I stopped at one particular house to admire the homeowner's beautiful flowers. They were red and purple, and they were just smiling at me. It was exactly what I needed. And then there was a woman standing in front of me. And I looked up, and I had unknowingly stopped at the house of a Village member. It was Barb F., and she was there for me in a moment of need, planting those flowers with her own hands. She could not have known that it was people like her that truly embody the spirit of the Village and make it such a beautiful place to grow and work and live together. So, if I'm emotional, it's because I'm just so touched by her compassion and connection and availability. And you guys do the same things for each other as members. So here's to being that hand for you as we continue to stay close together and safe at home for the holidays with Village in the Ville.
During one of our recent Village Art Series meetings, someone posed the question to the group, have you been able to turn things you're passionate about into your career? That question got me thinking about my start here. In 2019, I found the Village in the Ville program for AmeriCorps, and I was excited by the prospect of working in a city and planning events and programs, but I was even more inspired by your mission, to help our older adult neighbors age in their homes and community. An idea that felt especially radical and refreshing to me because at the time I was working in an assisted living facility. I believe Village in the Ville and the wider Village movement is the way of the future, and I feel so fortunate to be a part of something that is undoubtedly shaping how we all live and age. For me, the best part is that the Village approach is really just a return to what has always worked: kindness, service, and the generosity of neighbors. Thank you to each of you for making the Village the unique community it is, for your friendly phone calls, your fabulous ideas for clubs and events, and your willingness to lend a hand. I love coming to work for such a vibrant, caring group of people. And I'd like to take this moment to extend my endless gratitude to you all for helping me find my passion.
As we reach year's end, I want to take the time to thank each Village member and volunteer for their generous contribution to this network, because you each have offered something. The pandemic has cast older adults in a particularly vulnerable light. While safety is paramount, I want to shine a brighter light on you all as people who are resilient, thoughtful, compassionate, and just darn good neighbors. So thank you, and know that I believe we are going to get through this. Wishing you all the happiest of holidays, because you deserve nothing less.